Well, joining us now here on the program, excited to sit down and have a conversation with a good friend of the show, Dr. Steve Lerner from Novonesis, formerly known as Christian Hansen, joining us here for a conversation about probiotics in our animals and specifically in our pets. Well, with that, let's bring in Dr. Steve Lerner. And Steve, it's good to talk with you again, sir. Hope you're doing well.
Yes, good morning, Jesse. I'm doing very well. Always happy to be here, sir.
Well, just real quick, I mentioned this Novonesis, now formerly Christian Hansen. And of course, we've had you on the show multiple times under the Christian Hansen umbrella and the company now rolling into Novonesis. Can you give us a little background on this change for us to start?
Certainly. Actually, a year ago, January, we learned at Christian Hansen that an organization, Novozymes, certainly we were aware of them in the marketplace. We're owned by Novo Holdings out of Denmark, was going to acquire Christian Hansen, a merger. And we knew that for a year and all those things in the background that happen when two companies merge. And this January, we learned that we'd have a new name, Novonesis, which is really put together by our consulting firm, Novo meaning new, and they pulled Nessus from the word Genesis, so a new beginning, which I thought was an elegant way to bring two companies that have been in business 150 years for Christian Hansen, 100 years for Novozymes to a new beginning. So Novonesis it is, and I've been quite excited about what this brings to the table in terms of the breadth of biosolutions for the world. I'm now reporting into the planetary health division of Novonesis, which I just love as a title for a place to work.
Fantastic. Well, we'll look forward to learning more about the evolution of the new company here down the road. Again, Novonesis. And I know your work a lot. We've talked in the past about effective use of probiotics. A lot of times we're talking about the use of probiotics in cattle, pigs, you name it, etc. But one thing you and I've never talked about before is our pets and think about our farm dogs, et cetera, et cetera. May was just pet month. So talk to us about this. I would have to think that an effective probiotic could be very beneficial for our pets as well.
Well, you've heard me say many times when you think about effective probiotics, whether you're talking about us and our families and friends, or production animal agriculture, herds of dairy cattle, lots of beef cattle, flows of pigs, flocks of birds, we say that probiotics, when they are effective, support all normal gastrointestinal functions. They support digestion, absorption, barrier, and immune functions, giving the animals in our care the best chance to be normal. When you extend this, and now we have some great research and tremendous evidence into our pets, we see the same exact phenomenon. When you look at the digestive health of dogs and cats, you can certainly see the evidence of better digestion, absorption, barrier, and immune functions. But we can also look at the common maladies among our pets, whether it's oral health issues or the shininess and health of their skin or their propensity to have diarrhea or vomiting. And we can see that probiotics have a positive impact on reducing those maladies in our animals.
Well, I know one thing you and I talked about this a few months ago. I believe we were at the NCBA convention, and you brought up, with probiotics in our cattle herd, for instance, and dairy, et cetera, reducing some anxiety. What about with our pets? Talk about
Yeah.
that.
So we are now learning and have had some evidence in hand for, call it the last decade, that there is a microbiome, the organisms that populate our digestive system, gut brain axis, that the organisms, the probiotic and other organisms in our gut can actually communicate to our brains. And they can affect cognition, they can affect emotion, they can affect the health of our central nervous system. So when you look for changes in behaviors, which are the outward sign of impacts of something on the brain, many of those measures you have in our pets are related to anxiety behaviors or combative fighting behaviors. And there's a beautiful set of data that has been reviewed out of a group in Portugal led by Secura and others that have been able to prove that effective probiotics can affect anxiety disorders in dogs. This could be pacing or spinning or excessive barking. And not only can they quantify a reduction in these type of behaviors, but they can also talk about the biochemistry. And the stress hormone in most mammals is corticosterone or cortisol in dogs. And they found a significant reduction in the cortisol in the saliva of these pets, proving that not only are they showing less stress outwardly, but they're probably feeling less stress inwardly. And every time you can use something like an effective probiotic daily in your pet that impacts their mental well being, not only their physical health, but their mental well being, that has to be a benefit, not only for the pet, but for the pet owner, the pet parent.
Well, and I know we've talked in the past as well how easy it is to add an effective probiotic to our, our human regimen or for our cattle or whatever herd we're talking about. I have to think the same goes for our dogs and our pets around the home as well. It's very easy to add an effective probiotic into the daily routine, isn't it?
So there are now many pet food companies that provide probiotics within their pet food. Whether it's a pet kibble or a wet food, you can find probiotics that have been added. We maintain always, when you think about effective probiotics, we like to support the idea that strain of organism is very important. Not all probiotics are created equal. So we look for those strains that have the most evidence of efficacy and then point our customers to those. But there are many fine choices. If you're choosing to use a probiotic, we say you've made a great choice. You're investing money wisely and you can put it into your pet's food daily. But the more informed you can be about the quality of that probiotic, then you can make the best choice. And that's all we encourage anybody to do, whether it's your personal choice on which probiotic to take or to provide to your children. I know when my granddaughter was born, when she was receiving iron droplets, as they do, it was an iron droplet that had a probiotic included. And I believe it had a significant impact on the quality of her early life. The same is true for our pets.
Well, great thoughts. And Dr. Lerner, before we let you go, anything final you would add or reiterate to folks listening in as they're thinking about the use of an effective probiotic, whether it's themselves or our herds on the farm or our pets around the farm and ranch?
You've heard me say this so many times, whether it's for you or anyone in your care, your family or your pets or the animals, production animals that you are responsible for, then it is always in your best interest and theirs to consider providing a daily probiotic. It simply gives them the chance to be normal, and the greater the percentage of normal healthy in your presence, the better the likelihood of success. And that's what you have to remember.
Fantastic. Well, and I'm sure if folks want to learn more online about Novonesis, very easy to go to the website, social media, all that stuff to find out more information on all the different products and arenas that you guys are involved in, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. At novanessus.com, you can find all about our planetary health division, from biofuels and enzymes and detergents to probiotics, inoculants, and soil amendments.
Novonesis.com for more. And with that, Dr. Steve Lerner with Novonesis. Always appreciate the time, sir. Thank you for joining us, and we'll look forward to having a conversation again in the future.
My absolute pleasure, Jesse. Thank you.